Hi everyone, my name is Rachel Menares, and I'm going to talk to you today about Alan Alexander Milne, better known as A.A. Milne. Milne is the writer and creator of Winnie the Pooh. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background information about him. He was born January 18th, 1882 in London, England, and he passed away in January of 1956 in England. He is very well educated. He educated from Trinity College at Cambridge University with a mathematics degree, but felt like that was not his calling and felt that writing was his calling. And so he moved up to London and then applied for a job as an writer for our local magazine there, and was very well known and very prolific there. One of his famous quotes is, "Promise me you'll always remember, you're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." This is one of the quotes from Winnie the Pooh. When he wrote Winnie the Pooh, he was already a fairly prolific and popular writer and a very popular playwright. He has numerous poems, novels, and plays under his belt at this time. When he wrote the Winnie the Pooh stories, he looked to his son, Christopher Robin, in how he played with his toys and made observations, and that is how Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin, and the 100-Acre Woods came about. During World War I, Milne decided he wanted to help the war effort. He was a known pacifist, but he felt that he could help somewhat. So he became an signaling officer, and then was fallen ill and then was discharged in 1919. Milne never illustrated his books. He had Ernest Shepard illustrate all his books for Winnie the Pooh and some of his book of poems. The family now does no longer own the majority of the rights of Winnie the Pooh. Disney owns the majority of those rights. With Disney, they have made this a whole new thing. But you are actually able to go see the actual Winnie the Pooh, Kanga and Roo, and Tigger at the New York City, Public Library. They are on display in the children's section. So the book I'm going to read for you today is Pooh Invents a New Game. Pooh Invents a New Game. By the time it came to the edge of the forest, the stream had grown up, so that it was almost a river, and being grown up, it did not run and jump and sparkle along it as it used to when it was younger, but moved more slowly, for it knew now where it was going, and it said to itself, "There is no hurry. We shall get there some day." But all the little streams higher up in the forest went this way and that, quickly, eagerly, having so much to find out before it was too late. There was a broad track, almost as broad as a road, leading from the outland to the forest. But before it could come to the forest, it had crossed this river. So where it crossed, there would be a wooden bridge, almost as broad as a road, with wooden rails on each side of it. Christopher Robin could just get his chin up to the top rail, if he wanted to, but it was most fun to stand on the bottom rail so that he could lean right over and watch the river slipping slowly away beneath him. Pooh could get his chin on the bottom rail if he wanted to, but it was most fun to lie down and get his head under it and watch the river slipping slowly away beneath him. And this was the only way in which Piglet and Roo could watch the river at all, because they were too small to reach the bottom rail, so they would lie down and watch it, and it slipped away very slowly, being in no hurry to get there. One day, when Pooh was walking towards this bridge, he was trying to make up a piece of poetry about fir cones, because there they were, lying about on each side of him, and he felt singy. So he picked up a fir cone and looked at it, and said to himself, "This is a very good fir cone, and something ought to rhyme to it." But he couldn't think of anything, and then this came into his head suddenly. "Here is a mystery about a little fir tree. Owl says it's his tree, and Kanga says it's her tree. Which doesn't make sense, said Pooh, because Kanga doesn't live in a tree. He just come to the bridge and not looking where he was going. He tripped over something, and the fir cone jerked out of his paw into the river. Bother, said Pooh, as it floated slowly under the bridge, and he went back to get another fir cone, which had a rhyme to it. But then he thought that he would just look at the river instead, because it was a peaceful sort of day. So he lay down and looked at it, and it slipped slowly away beneath him. And suddenly, there was his fir cone slipping away too. That's funny, said Pooh. I dropped it on the other side, said Pooh, and it came out this side. I wonder if it would do it again. And he went back for some more fir cones. It did. It kept doing it. Then he dropped 2 at once and leaned over the bridge to see which of them would come out first, and one of them did. But as they were both the same size, he didn't know if it was the one which he wanted to win, or the other one. So the next time he dropped one big one and one little one, and the big one came out first, which was what he had said it would do, and the little one came out last, which was what he had said it would do. So he had won twice, and when he went home for tea, he had won 36 and lost 28, which meant that you take 28 from 36, and that's what he was, instead of the other way around. And that was the beginning of the game called Pooh Sticks, which Pooh invented and which he and his friends used to play on the edge of the forest. But they played with sticks instead of fir cones because they were easier to mark. Now one day, Pooh and Piglet and Rabbit and Roo were all playing Pooh Sticks together. They had dropped their sticks in when Rabbit said, "Go!" Then they had hurried across the other side of the bridge, and now they were all leaning over the edge, waiting to see whose stick would come out first. But it was a long time coming, because the river was very lazy that day, and hardly seemed to mind if it didn't ever get there at all. "I can see mine," cried Roo. "No, I can't. It's something else. Can you see yours, Piglet?" "I thought I could see mine, but I couldn't." "There it is." "No, it isn't." "Can you see yours, Pooh?" "No," said Pooh. "I expect my stick's stuck," said Roo. "Rabbit, my stick's stuck. Is your stick stuck, Piglet?" "They always take longer than you think," said Rabbit. I'm only going to read a little bit because there's quite a bit to this. My assignment, what I chose for this, was a character study of sorts. Students would read this book or any other Pooh book, and they would talk about the character, the dialogue, the characterization, inferences, and the action. So that's what I would have my students do, and I've included that in my my PDF when I download this to the discussion board. Thank you.